Going back to last weekend, disappointing result. Overall, though, do you feel that the better team on the day won the game, or do you feel it's one of those games where you had the opportunities but just didn't get to take them?
Yeah, I certainly think Charlton were the better team on the day. We were disappointed. It didn't feel like a Sunderland performance. We wanted obviously more out of the game than what we delivered. So the players and the staff were really disappointed with the outcome. We know we can be better, and for whatever reason it just didn't happen on that day, but it's our first defeat. It didn't feel nice, so we have to put that right this weekend.
Before the game you said there were certain areas you wanted to improve on, up the pace a bit and so on. Do you, from what you're saying, you didn't address that?
No, we just looked a bit flat, we looked a bit pedestrian, and ultimately that's why we changed the formation. We matched them up with three centre-backs when we made the triple change to try and get ourselves more in duels and trying to get the ball higher up into the final third. I thought we had a bit of possession in around the second half, but we didn't really do anything with it, and it wasn't until maybe the last 15 minutes where we had some real opportunities in front of goal.
Is it too easy to say it's playing at the stadium? Is the stadium in any sense, shape or form an issue?
No, we've spoke about it again. The players enjoy playing there. You know, it's just up to us to make sure that we're at the races more so in the bigger games. You know, it was a big game. Charlton are in unbelievable form. It was a real challenge and one that we didn't really overcome. So we learn from it and make sure that, you know, we don't make the same mistakes this weekend.
Fine lines. You mentioned there about Charlton's unbelievable form. You were neck and neck going into the game, but they're now early pace setters. Does that come as a bit of a surprise to you?
No, I think they're a really good team. I think they're up there every year. I think they're really competitive. They've got a solid back three who've been playing together a long time, and that shows. I think that's their super strength. And we can learn from it. We can learn from what they did to us, and you know, like I said, we've reflected well, and I have to say that the response in training this week's been fantastic, but the challenge is now to put that into the game on Sunday.
The irrefutable law of being bitten on the bum by the former players, Mary McAteer.
Yeah, she put a good cross in for Jodie Hutton at the back post, but we were really disappointed. We need to put pressure on the ball earlier. We need to bump and block in the box and track them runners. There were basic errors from us, I think, which are preventable, which is the most disappointing thing.
When you look at the league table, though, it still appears with the results over the last few weeks, nothing's really settled down. It's one of those that nobody's got into a rhythm apart from maybe Charlton, Birmingham at the top, and anybody on the day seems to be able to beat anybody else. Yeah,
that's what makes it fun. That's the unpredictability of the league, and that's why it's so important, and we keep stressing this to the players, that the consistency is key. Getting ourselves up to certain levels that are going to win with the game or get points is huge, because we have to keep ticking over if we're going to be up there.
And Palace at the weekend is one of those unpredictable teams. They can score a lot of goals. They showed that against Southampton, but at the same time, 2 late goals they conceded last time out against Newcastle.
Yeah, they're a good team. Obviously, they were in the top flight last year. We've got some really good players, some experienced players who've played in the top flight, and some we have to be really cautious over. We have to get our structure right, and we have to make sure that the players understand their roles and responsibilities on the pitch, and ultimately have the quality to hurt them, which we know we have.
I mean, you know you've got that quality. You've seen already this season. Is that bounce back ability? That's effectively what you're looking for this weekend? Yeah,
we need a huge reaction. I think that's really important to show our character and to set our stall out and to set our intentions out. You know, it hurt the team last week. They were really, really disappointed. So we have to make sure that, you know, we put the wrongs to right this weekend.
How's Ellen down? Okay.
She's good. She's grand. She's trained well this week. Thanks for asking.
Great. She involved the weekend?
She will be in the squad, yes.
Okay.
Well, it feels on the one hand as if you've hardly started, and yet you're almost a quarter of the way through the league season. I suppose the point I'm getting to is it does feel like this is a season where there's an opportunity almost for everyone, isn't there? Because it does seem so close.
Yeah, the games come thick and fast. It feels a little bit different without the September international break as well. Normally we'd play a few games and have a pause, but we've gone all the way through, and obviously another game on Sunday, then the League Cup, and then the international break. And by the time we get to Christmas, you know, we're nearly there. So yeah, they come thick and fast, and it's so important that the errors that we may have made on Sunday are not reoccurring errors to kind of take out of that race.
When you're in a league where there's less games, does it make every game feel all that more important because there's less margin for error?
Yeah, the players have spoke about it. We got 22 cup finals, and we said on Sunday, if that was a cup final, that's not a cup final performance. So again, trying to find little ways to get more out of the players is key. We've got a fantastic squad, great depth, lots of competition for places, and hopefully that can make sure that we have a competitive season.
Palace haven't exactly sort of set the world on fire in the first few games. Is that just another example of how tough this league is? Because they obviously strengthened when they were up there last year, and yet it hasn't been easy for them readapting.
Yeah, it is tough. I think it's certainly unpredictable, competitive, and no team's got any easy fixtures. I said it a couple of weeks ago, when if top plays bottom, it's not predictable. You have to make sure that whatever you do, you're doing it to the top level to make sure that you get something out of the game, or you're going to be disappointed.
Right.
Cheers.
You mentioned there about the response in training and the feeling that it was a bit of a flat performance. Did you have to do much in terms of driving that this week, or did you get the impression that the players felt that coming away that they wanted to react?
Yeah, we analysed it on Tuesday. We have a presentation that we deliver back, and before we delivered it back, I asked what their thoughts were, and we spent about 20 minutes talking about it before we even showed any footage. So there was a lot of ownership, a lot of accountability, which is really good and really important when you've got a squad. People recognising what they maybe could have done better or more of, or looking at the goals that we conceded. How could we avoid them or get better pressure in certain areas, how we could have pressed better from the front. So I think the players have took real ownership this week, and I think that shows the maturity of the squad that we've got.
And having those back is a big plus. There's been times in here where you've not had a striker at all, so to have Eleanor from Airfall from that season, and what Emily's produced already this season, that's a real strength for you.
Yeah, she's a welcome return. She's fully fit. Was delighted to get Kira Barry back as well. Two big centre forwards who can cause teams problems. Like you say, Emily's done terrific as well. A goal threat. Katie Watson's done really well. Goal threat. Izzy's scored as well. So Katie Kitchen scored. So you've got a lot of forwards there who we need to get in the game, because we know they can really hurt the opposition.
And because you've got a bigger squad this season, it obviously gives you more options to change things around. That must be quite an interesting dynamic for you this week, the fact that poor performances, the temptation to shake things up, but also, I guess, wanting to try and keep some consistency as well, because it has by and large been a really good start.
Yeah, I think, and I do think that's important. Players are training well, and players are waiting. The players who are waiting in the wings are waiting for players to make mistakes, and then ultimately, we might have to change certain things up to get a response, and to give a little bit of a kick as well.